Whoa, I died. Seems like I'm floating through this wall. No one can see or hear me. This is incredible. I don't seem to be bound by the laws of physics. I wonder if this means I get to exist forever. Why do I keep floating away? Oh no. Gravity. When I see the surgeon and it's my friend that used ChatGPT to pass his classes. Sorry guys, misclick. The police realizing that the gun in my hands was unloaded. French soldiers hearing wounded Germans sobbing and screaming for their mothers in no man's land. German soldiers hearing wounded French sobbing and screaming for their mothers in no man's land. I've been running for miles, and it's still chasing me. I can't keep going for much longer. Point of view, you live on the 5th floor. The silicon-based alien watching as the pathetic bipedal ape gets up and starts charging at it with its Element 82 accelerator after being annihilated with a plasma beam and losing one half of his torso. When the recently turned infected person you just shot begs you to stop shooting, but keeps charges at you. Point of view, you see fan art of a serial killer on the internet. The exact same person who raped and murdered your daughter years ago. I can't remember how the mission failed so spectacularly. Johnson, Shepard, Ripley, they're all dead. A sudden catastrophic implosion. I doubt they felt anything. Before we launched, I had dreams of a peculiar young woman. She warned me not to come on this mission. She begged me, you will suffer a fate worse than death. Was this my destiny all along? To witness the death of my crew from the viewport of a damaged escape pod. Now, I drift toward a black hole. It's only a matter of time before my atoms are torn apart and squeezed into the singularity. The pain should stop. But it never does. I feel myself unravel and wait for everything to end. Instead, I soar through infinite nothingness until my atoms are miraculously reunited thousands of light years away. I awaken on a strange alien planet. Molecularly fused with the escape pod. An amalgamation of flesh and machine. A fate worse than death. When the irradiated corpse you and your best friend brought into the bunker gets up and begins begging for death. Alien bearing witness to a human hopping towards it with a knife in his mouth after having 2 arms and a leg blown off by an orbital cannon. While yelting this plane has been claimed by the human race. The indomitable human spirit was supposed to be a myth. Microplastics found on the ocean's floor. Microplastics found in the meat, milk and blood of farm animals. Microplastics found in a human fetus. Today, a rocket missed me by 500 meters. Troll Physics Episode 11. How to raise an awesome son. No materials needed. Step 1. Have a son. Not pictured. Step 2. While raising your son, always be sure to. You ruined my ducking life. Wish I never had you. I wish you had never been born. Hang on, this isn't part of the troll physics. Buddy, put down the newspaper and go calm down your wife from her postpartum psychosis. Step 3. You weren't fast enough. Troll Physics Episode 12. How to mourn your child faster. Materials needed. Ball and chain. Bro tip. Use magnets to make it faster. 1918 German infantry soldiers watching as American troops charged straight at their trench with weird 2-barreled shotguns that shoot dozens of little metal pellets at a time. Prisoners could serve 1,000-year sentence in 8 hours. Future biotechnology could be used to make prisoners feel as if they were serving a 1,000-year sentence, a team of scientists claim. Our sweet man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. When you're a fast animal and slow hairless apes try to run you down and kill you with primitive short-range weapons. They never get tired. Cool bug facts. There have been 13 genocides since World War II, 3 of them are ongoing. You are the new guy in class. Friend circles exist already. Finding your way in there is rather hard. You're mostly alone. But don't really mind it. The popular girl in class comes up to you randomly. Everyone has an obvious crush on her. What does she want? She's actually friendly and open to you. She chats a bit with you, and you find out you have a few things in common. Even sharing a favorite musician. You exchange contacts with her. You're not really alone anymore, and made your first friend. A few weeks passed by, and she's as kind as usual. You chat a lot. You laugh a lot. You don't think too much into this, and enjoy her company. You two grabbed a coffee after school. You walk her to her home, to make sure she gets there safely. Next day at school, people are weird. They stare, they laugh, they point at you. They all laugh at their phones. The always so kind girl too, standing with her friends, laughing like the others. She played you. She gathered all your cringe messages and spread them in the group chats. They laugh at your feelings. They laugh at your thoughts. They won't stop laughing at you. They make fun of you. For the entire time you are at this school, you don't reply. You play deaf. But they find it amusing. Teachers won't help. Your bullies say sorry, and that's it. They keep going. Have fun at school. Love is in the air. Wrong. Blood is leaking into the submarine. The Germans, as they watch undead Russian soldiers rush out of the Osawik fortress after poisoning them with a deadly chemical gas. You've done it all. Life has ceased to be and all is silence once more, but you don't feel accomplished. You feel empty. Using your abilities, you peer into the endless abyss that is the multiverse and see another you that didn't suffer as you have, a you that made different choices as you were. That day never happened. As you sit in the ruins of your destroyed world, you wonder if that day never happened. Would things be different? But you know it's far too late for that. The world is gone, and you are alone. Me when I'm hanging out with a neighbor's kid out of the force of my parents. For the past hour he has been acting weird. They all blocked you. Your friends, your family. You'll never know why, because nobody made a single attempt to get your side of the story. You will be alone forever without a clue as to what you've done. Realizing you managed to escape the zombies. Remembering you're diabetic. When you let the customer hold one of the display guns, and he pulls out a loaded magazine and chambers it right in front of you. Point of view. You've let her in, even though she was missing her passport. This airlock door is over 1 meter thick. This is probably the safest place in the facility I could be in right now. The rescue team should arrive soon. You said to yourself, a few minutes before you heard the screams of the soldiers, flesh being ripped apart, and blood dripping from the vents. It is your turn now. I've been walking this path towards the mountain for days now. Every time I turn around, it leads me back to that mountain. I've tried stepping off the path, but no matter where I go, I always end up heading back to the mountain. Yesterday, it looked at me. You acquire the ability to stop time by snapping your fingers. You realize you're not immune. Water in the water tank? Wrong. Elisa. Alcoholic father who is starting to sober up and become happy. The sudden death of his beloved wife. When you're a soldier on patrol in a war-torn city, you see something in the distance that looks like a tank. But as it approaches, you realize that it's not a tank. It moves with a strange and unnatural grace, its body shifting and undulating in a way that should not be possible. Me looking up at the gigantic cosmic beings about to erase Earth. We got too far as a civilization. We were nothing but pets for higher beings. It's April 22nd, 1915. 4-eyed and 2-nosed Germans have released chlorine gas into your trenches. Any who get exposed to it die a horrible death. Any who attempt to escape get mowed down by machine gun fire. There is nothing you can do. Me looking at my loved one slowly dying from Alzheimer's gain terminal lucidity and remember who I'm knowing well this will be the final time I see them alive. Zombie virus that kills you and reanimates your corpse. Zombie virus that keeps you alive but turns you into a non-sentient violent animal. Zombie virus that keeps you sentient but destroys your morals and inhibitions turning you into a psychopathic maniac. Zombie virus that destroys your morals and inhibitions turning you into a psychopathic maniac but keeps your human self trapped inside your body, aware but unable to do anything but watch as you commit unspeakable atrocities to those you once loved and cared for. Point of view. After years of global warming the stratosphere finally vanishes, leaving us with the UV rays of the sun. April 14th, 2198. The aliens were wiped out 2 billion years ago. All that remained were their technology and the thing that wiped them all out in an instant, the eye of an angry god that stood floating before you. It had already turned off the minds of everyone in the solar system for a few minutes, a display of its power and a warning. You're a Vietnamese soldier, hearing the haunting voices of your dead ancestors in the dark woods. The war ended 5 years ago. Oh shit, I took both pills and now I'm stuck in Albuquerque, New Mexico. When I try to test the 3-day sleep theory and encounter the reason for the deaths of many. I, F, 24, spend months telling my GP something isn't right. He didn't listen. This is the stage 4 tumor they found at the hospital now. This is not mildly infuriating. Now you got brain cancer, you are gonna die. Point of view. Global relations have deteriorated past the point of no return. You and a friend watch helplessly as the first atomic bomb detonates, unable to escape the blast radius. As I stood before him, I knew I would be shown no mercy. All that I'd done, I would not be forgiven for. I stood there as he looked at me, ready to accept my fate. As the gates of hell opened behind me, I said to him, if this be my fate, so be it. I go with satisfaction, knowing that those who claim to preach your word, but instead preyed on the children put in their trust, are also there. He said to me, yes, they have been there 4 years now, but when they see you, they will know, their suffering has only begun. Hey USA, how's the fentanyl crisis going? Fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. Portland, Oregon sending kids to school with Narcan and training them how to use it on a person who has overdosed. Parents sending test kids to parties to test the drugs for other kids. College campuses handing out naloxone self-injection kits. US Congress exploring options for military intervention in Mexico to eliminate the cartels. Sinaloa cartel warning its own members to stop producing fentanyl, or they will be kidnapped and killed. A zombie outbreak starts in the US. Panic. The US military takes control, using effective tactics to kill every last zombie within a single afternoon. The threat is over in a matter of hours. Nothing like TWD, fortunately. Calm. The US military refuses to relinquish their emergency powers. Panic. Congratulations, employee B 576,438,933. You exceeded your weekly productivity quota by 55%. Please choose a reward. XXL pod. Leave your normal pod, or a week, and spend your free time in this larger, premium pod which even has room to stand up. Premium bug menu. Replace your soy nutrient rations with 1 week of delicious treats including bug burgers, mealworm tacos and barbecue crickets. Intimacy simulation unit. Bored of your free HDVR porn rations? Take pleasure to the next level with a state-of-the-art Shrek bot. Cuddle setting included. 10 extra minutes in the scream box. Outdoor experience. Enjoy a blast from the past with weeks access to this super realistic greenhouse dome. Complete with real plants, cool breezes, and believable. Me watching as the first zombie ever created effortless rips apart all the other test subjects, research staff, and security task force. Even after the entire top half of its head was blown off, we failed to account that unlike ours, its body would have no inhibitions. I witnessed the end of the human race. I saw the cities crumble to dust. My friends. Gone for 100,000 years. Why don't God let me die? There's a giant bad thing at the door. Panic. Something killed the giant bad thing. Calm. Something killed the giant bad thing. Panic. We found a lot of texts and writings on remains of a ancient doomsday planet. End is near. Jesus is coming. Who is this Jesus? What has he done to me people on this planet? We don't know. But one thing we know is that humans are very afraid of Jesus, as they have erected scarecrows against him everywhere. You paused time for what felt like thousands of years. You've spent the past millennium soaking up all of the knowledge available, including some ancient secrets. When it comes time to finally unpause, you come to a devastating realization. Time was only paused for you. You are in the future now. We've found some paintings inside the house of a long deceased legendary artist. They are different to his original work. They are different to his original work. Why did he paint these? The wasteland scavenger looking at me after eating a bunch of radioactive material thinking it's food. Knowing the rats will kill me faster than the bug snacking on my blood. You have been given an assignment to dig in the mines. They stitched your eyes shut and told you to dig. Your fellow slaves have gotten their eyes stitched shut too. What are we digging up that they don't want us to see? You did it. You managed to gain immortality, but what you didn't realize is that you would watch everything around you die, leaving you alone on this lonely rock until the inevitable death of the universe. When the aliens visit Earth and find the wildlife of the planet, the aliens consider them as possible allies, but that was their last thought before getting their limbs ripped off them and get their face squashed by the living creatures on this planet. Ick now. Vietnam wasn't actually so bad. Me and my buddy Bigfoot, we both did full tours. Neither one of us even saw one Viet Cong soldier. Just a lot of trees. You lose all hope when you realize there are 5 people tied up on the opposite train tracks. You marry your high school sweetheart, have 2 beautiful daughters, and enlist in the Marines. You get deployed, leaving your family behind. Luckily your brother is there to watch over them. Your helicopter is shot down, and you are declared dead, but you and another soldier survive. You are captured, tortured, and forced to kill your friend. When you are rescued and return home you suspect your wife had an affair with your brother. You are suffering from severe PTSD and your family is scared of you. You have a catastrophic break and realize life will never be the same. You and your soldiers fought back against an alien empire and this is your punishment. Despite being a living sewage system, they still kept your brain intact to be aware of your fate. Every day you wish for death as many more of these abominations cover the surface of the planet. You're sorting through your grandfather's belongings after he passed. Among them is a single image out of many. He never talked about the war. Surely, it can't be him. Nevertheless, the smile will haunt you for days. Point of view. You are a Christian soldier who has just died in combat. Convinced you are about to meet God and find eternal peace in heaven. You're an American soldier in 1944 tasked with rescuing down at Yemen in the deep, remote and uncharted Pacific Ocean. Unfortunately for you, though, the Japanese torpedoes are the least of your worries. You've done this dozens of times, watching their once playful faces turn from horror to nothingness, ripping them from their friends and mothers for your pit of despair. This was for science, and they are only an animal. At least that's what you told yourself as you looked into their broken eyes. This was until you closed your own eyes for the last time, only to open them again. You find yourself in an all too familiar laboratory. The horror of your eternal fate dawns on you when you see yourself walking towards you, looking down on you like an indifferent god. There will be no mercy. Always remember it's for science. Me after exhuming the body of a victim of the 1518 dancing plague to find out what really killed them. Your plane crashes on a deserted island and 7 of you survive. You're the only woman. Point of view, you watch your dog escape through the fence and make a break for the neighbor's infant playing in their yard. 5 years old me with my Nerf pistol trying to stop my drunk father from coming directly at me with his belt. As the sun rises on a regular Thursday, you wake up to the sound of explosions and gunfire. You check the news, only to find out that your nation is under attack from 3 sides by a seemingly much stronger enemy. That awkward moment when your finger slipped, and now you have to find the gun without half of your face. Point of view, you rear judge who granted sole custody of 3 children to this man's ex-wife earlier today. When the war is over, we'll get married, and the earth will grow flowers like you, and your womb will carry the most beautiful girl in the universe. A letter found in the pocket of one of the dead soldiers, 1939. Where did my newborn baby go? Mia's duck. Me coming to the horrifying realization that the dead internet theory isn't true, but there are people who have nothing going on in their brains. Me staring at the $140,000 bill after the doctor failed to save my pregnant wife and unborn child. You time traveled to the Ediacaran, but your time machine ceased to function. Life on land is non-existent, a barren wasteland stretching infinitely before you. You will rot alone, a festering corpse, for countless days, trapped in utter isolation, until the merciless grip of death finally claims you. Me watching my sweethearted father maliciously beat on a burglar even though he hasn't moved a muscle in the past 7 minutes. Ever since that broadcast interruption warning about terrorists destroying the country, our town hasn't been the same. These entities have been emitting strange sounds, almost as if they are communicating with each other. Me signing divorce papers after the doctor tells me that my wife is paralyzed from the neck down and will require constant care. Aliens are here, but they aren't the small green beings we might have imagined. Instead, they are giant insectoid creatures. These beings have covered the land in webs, much like those of spiders, and they feast on large livestock. Every night, they come to wreak havoc on cities, leaving destruction in their wake. Me watching my family celebrate as grandma is suddenly cured of dementia. I'm the only one who realizes this is terminal lucidity, and that she will die within a week. Coworker keeps stealing my lunch. Me after learning he has a peanut allergy. Mom, I prayed to God nightly to give you a disability when you were born, so you'd never leave me. Me after just telling my mom I want to go away to college. To ascend to the kingdom of heaven from purgatory, you must undergo sanctification. Me dying hundreds of deaths in 10 seconds to purge my body of every last ounce of sin. You did it. You got rid of the bipedal primates, but at what cost? All they were trying to do was protect their home, but they were destroying their planet. You feel guilty, but you also feel relieved, knowing this planet is okay. Me on July 12, 2038 watching an asteroid descend to Earth realizing that it's too late to destroy it, and that everything I have done is for nothing. Friend, I wish we could be 17 forever, just you and me against the world. My friend just 2 days later, after he tried to drive home while drunk. This is the end. The sun is about to explode in moments. You accept your death, and look over to this male. Point of view, you learned the reason your sister was so cruel to you in childhood was because your mother treated you like a king, while abusing your sister in the worst ways imaginable. Me, personally, I dislike the Chinese gov. My Huawei P30 cell phone. Michelle Brock 9936. Everyone in basing SE acting wholesome, but they have ulterior motives. Wouldn't that make you gaslighters?